So insurance and liability, again, you can be held liable. You want to make sure that if you're working for somebody, they certainly have you covered with insurance. You want to make sure if you're working in a club or you're bringing, say you're bringing a group touring into a club, you're going to want to make sure that they are covered with insurance. So if something happens, you're not left out in the cold, and they can at least take financial responsibility for it. Another common lawsuit that typically security get involved in is excessive use of force. And again, there are laws about excessive use of force, and security officers that are trained, that's one of the things they're trained on. And like the bouncers that killed the guy on Bourbon Street, they were using the excessive force, and they either didn't know better or they didn't care. My relationship with the festival is that they employ me. I have an employee relationship with them. So I am covered by workers' compensation insurance, their general liability insurance, but it would be possible for me to be personally sued. If I was shown to be personally negligent, then yes, I could be personally sued. Now, if it was shown that somebody hired me and I was their employee or whatnot, they've got a certain amount of responsibility to make sure I know what I'm doing. So if they put me in that position and I make a big mistake, they're going to be held mostly liable, and then whether it's showing that I deliberately or vindictively or knew that what I was doing was going to cause harm and didn't take all the measures that I possibly could, then yeah, I could be sued personally as well. And even security guards, private security guards can be individually sued. So they are held responsible for their behavior. You can sue a police officer, for his individual behavior. Yeah. So again, if you're, guilty of not doing everything you can do, then definitely could possibly be sued. One of the other laws that private security needs to be aware of are arrest laws and imprisonment, detaining laws. Private security people and in-house security cannot technically arrest somebody. Only law enforcement can do that. But they can make a citizen's arrest just like you or I could do walking down the street. But there's certain things that you need to know about that in order to do it properly. And if you don't do it properly or under the wrong circumstances, you can be charged with basically false imprisonment is what it is. If you detain somebody, and like these guys, they were detaining this guy. When the police got there, they should have taken over the scene. They didn't. So there's probably multiple charges involved in that whole thing. Search and seizure laws are also really important. If you're going to be involved, you're going to be managing a venue, you're going to need to be familiar with search and seizure laws so that you know what your rights are as far as searching people coming into a venue, what type of things you can prohibit them from bringing into a venue, and how you go about doing searches. If you're searching bags, for instance, there's certain sort of typical rules that we follow, like you don't put your hands inside somebody's bag. If you can't see the stuff in it, you get them to move it, because the next thing you know, that person's missing their wallet, and they're sure it was the security guard that took their wallet out of their purse to look in their bag. So you need to be familiar with those sorts of things. And by the way, when these crowd crushes happen, what the people die from is compressive asphyxia, which is just a pressure that stops you from breathing. So they're actually suffocating. And it only takes, if you're subjected to 300 pounds of pressure for 2 to 3 minutes, basically your brain is starved of oxygen, and it can either cause death. I think it takes about 3 minutes for it to kill you. And even if it's less than 3 minutes, you could certainly suffer brain damage and other physical problems.